Good afternoon. We're just going to give everybody a 5-minute warning before we start the event. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Could we have everybody please take their seats? I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2024 State of the County Address. My name is Reagan Cusimano, and I am the chair of the Overland Park Chamber's Public Policy and Advocacy Committee, and will serve as your MC today. Today's luncheon event is co-sponsored by the Johnson County Chamber's Public Policy Council, comprised of the 10 chambers representing Johnson County. The Council's mission is to monitor legislative activities at the local, state, and national levels, and to advocate for legislation favorable to our region, our local communities, our businesses, and our residents. We strive to foster strong partnerships with our legislators and to educate local businesses about legislative issues. We believe that speaking with one voice most effectively communicates the concerns of the business community. As you can see today, when business community comes together, we can be a very strong and influential voice. And now, please rise for the presentation of our nation's colors, which will be posted by the members of the Johnson County Sheriff's Offices and MEDAC's Honor Guards. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. On. Color turn. March. Present. Arms. Order. Arms. Ready? Face. Forward. Arms.
We thank the Honor Guard members for their service and participation in our program today. Before we break for lunch, I'd like to recognize many of the dignitaries joining us today. Since there are so many, I will make group introductions. Please note that the county's elected officials will be recognized during the State of the County address. Please stand to be recognized. Everybody can go ahead and have a seat. We'd like to thank everybody else for being here today, too. First, we'd like to thank the members of our federal delegation and their representatives, members of the state delegation or their representatives, mayors, council members, members of the local school board, members of the chamber boards, and water district members. Thank you all for attending today. We'd also like to thank everyone for attending today's State of the County, which is being live tweeted at #JoeCo, SOTC, and we hope that you will engage with us and participate using that hashtag. So now, please enjoy networking over lunch, and we will reconvene in about 30 minutes. Thank you. Good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to proceed with this afternoon's program. Mike Kelly joined Johnson County government as the chairman of the board of the County Commissioners in January of 2023 and is now in his second year of his term. Functioning in a capacity similar to a city mayor, he serves as the chief elected official for the largest county in Kansas and serves the entire community. Before assuming that position, Chairman Kelly served as the mayor of Overland Park, Kansas, beginning in 2017. Born and raised in Leawood, Chairman Kelly has lived in Johnson County his entire life. And following his family tradition, Chairman Kelly attended Kansas State University, go Wildcats, where he graduated with degrees in journalism and political science. He earned his law degree from the University of Kansas. In 2019, Chairman Kelly was a co-founder and is currently an executive board member of Climate Action KC, a regional leader implementing best practices for reducing emissions, energy efficiency, and natural conservation. Chairman Kelly and his wife, Elizabeth, have 2 children, Virginia and George. We are pleased to have his friends and family members in attendance today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to our chairman of the Johnson County Commission, Chairman Mike Kelly.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Reagan, thank you very much for the kind introduction. But more importantly, thank you for the work that you do for the Overland Park Chamber to make sure that our businesses are set to succeed here in Johnson County. As some of you may know, Reagan is also the Director of Government Affairs at the University of Kansas Health System. It's a cornerstone, really, of our community. Its revolutionary work in cancer research is, and I mean this literally, changing the world. You know, I did my time as a Jayhawk. And while the Wildcats will always be where the buck stops for me, I am so proud of the groundbreaking work being done by KU. And Reagan, I truly appreciate your kind introduction here today. Thank you very much. A big thank you to the entire Public Policy Council for its support in coordinating today's luncheon. And a special shout out to the Leawood Chamber for being our official host here today. I'd like to say we're Leawood adjacent here in the room, about a Patrick Mahomes touchdown pass or maybe a Travis Kelce catch and run away from the city's boundary. Personally, I'm proud to be from Leawood. I knew it was cool way before the world's most famous couple now calls it home. And I'm really excited to see the good work that the Leawood Chamber is doing in my hometown under the leadership of Stephanie Meyer. Congratulations. I'd like to thank my fellow county commissioners who are present today. I'd ask that you stand when your name is called. First, our new vice chair representing the 2nd District, Coach Jeff Myers. From the 6th District, Shirley Allenbrand. From the 5th District, our veteran in the clubhouse, Michael Ashcraft. From the 1st District, Becky Fast. From the 4th District, and hosting us here, Overland Park's own Janae Hanslick. And Charlotte O'Hara, representing the 3rd District, chose not to join us today. We also recognize Johnson County Chief Judge Charles Draghi. Unfortunately, Sheriff Calvin Hayden is not here with us today, but we do appreciate that Under Sheriff Darrell Reese is joining us. We're also happy to have our District Attorney, Steve Howe, here as well. We're also proud to have our fearless leader, County Manager Penny Postoke Ferguson, who, in case you missed it in the grocery store checkout line, was recently on the cover of the International Public Management magazine. Congratulations, Penny. I am also pleased to welcome the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Kansas, my friend David Toland. And you all might have spotted another familiar face in the House. After delivering this speech for 12 years in a row, my predecessor, former Chairman Ed Eilert, has returned as our guest here today. So I'm not sure if he's here to listen to me or because he knows the food is good here. Either way, it's a real honor to have him and Jan back in the building today in the ballroom that bears his name. Let's welcome him back with another round of applause. Personally, it's an honor for me to welcome my parents, Jim and Marilyn Kelly, as well as my in-laws, David and Karen Phelps, and most importantly, my wonderful wife, Elizabeth. Here's some breaking news, Johnson County. Raising kids is hard work. Isn't that right, Mom? Yeah. But really, it does take a village. As Elizabeth and I raise our own two kids, Ginny and George, right here in Johnson County, we're so grateful for the support of our parents and really of the broader community. In an ongoing effort to support Johnson County families, I wanted to recognize Raising KC. It's an important public health initiative that has brought together dozens of partners, including Johnson County Mental Health, to help parents build safe, supportive, nurturing relationships with our children. It's an excellent organization doing important work to help ensure all of our kids have the best shot at success. You know, when I was a kid growing up here in Kansas, Dwight Eisenhower was someone who always loomed large. We learned about his upbringing in Abilene. We studied his military service, and we memorized facts about his presidency. Something that has stuck with me all these years, and something that President Eisenhower said during his inaugural address in 1953, when he stood on a global stage and declared that whatever America hopes to bring to pass in the world must first happen in the heart of America. My friends, we are the heart of America. And as President Eisenhower recognized some 70 years ago, the policies that we pursue, the course that we set, and the future that we build here in Johnson County is, in fact, lighting the way for us, for our state, and for the entire region. Johnson County stands apart. The numbers alone tell a clear story. Johnson County is home to more than 1 in 4 jobs in the Sunflower State. We represent 1 out of every 3 jobs in the metro region, and we make up 46% of the region's job growth. We are 30% of the state's GDP and nearly 40% of the metro regions. We have an unemployment rate below 2%, and you can see that compares very favorably to the metro, the state, and the country. And we've seen wage growth exceed 7% 3 years in a row. We are the economic engine of our state. We're a regional leader in job growth and a central hub of development and innovation. Because Johnson County is recognized as a great place to raise a family, a great place to run a business, somewhere to retire comfortably, and everything in between, our population has steadily increased, more than 15% since 2010. Even in the midst of this eye-popping growth, resident satisfaction remains high. In fact, according to our most recent survey results, it's about as high as you can get. And as we grow, as we adapt, and as we position for the future, Johnson County government continues to be laser-focused on delivering an unparalleled quality of life for our residents. And really, that's the role of local government. We're here to focus on the everyday issues that matter most to our community and to light the way toward continued prosperity, innovation, and growth. For everyone in this room and for everyone who calls Johnson County home. It must be said, the state of our county is strong. We are well positioned to light the way, and we're well positioned to welcome new economic development. So stop me if you've heard this before, like maybe at last year's State of the County address. But once again, Kansas has attracted more business investment per capita than any other state in the nation. Congratulations, Lieutenant Governor. And you know that Johnson County is leading the way. There are so many examples that we could highlight. Here's a few. Honeywell is investing $84 million to expand its aerospace manufacturing facility in Olathe, creating 156 new jobs. The project is expected to generate nearly $47 million in total GDP and contribute more than $18 million in state and local taxes over the next 6 years. Our New Century Commerce Center is one of the largest multi-tenant business centers in the metro, generating more than $1 billion annually in direct and indirect economic benefits to Johnson County. It's located at the New Century Air Center and is part of the busiest airport system in the state. Looking ahead, I'd like to thank Senator Jerry Moran for his work to secure $15 million to replace the 80-year-old traffic control tower at New Century Air Center. A public-private partnership with our friends at Van Trust has resulted in now a third building coming online at New Century's Commerce Center. It's expected to be fully leased this year. This new building will provide an additional 300,000 square feet of distribution center space. Almost half of that square footage was already leased when we broke ground last November. It's a clear sign of the demand for more industrial facility and for high-skilled manufacturing jobs in this prime location. And of course, there's Panasonic. You've heard the stats. They're still mind-blowing. A 300-acre facility employing 4,000 people, creating another 4,000 jobs for supporting suppliers and businesses. This facility, which is located here in our county and staffed by our residents, will increase Panasonic Energy's global capacity by 60%. In more good news, we learned last month that German company H&T Recharge is joining the Panasonic development. They've announced plans to invest an additional $110 million and create another 180 new jobs in DeSoto. This investment is massive. It didn't happen by accident. Its success isn't guaranteed. So Johnson County is working closely with our friends in DeSoto, with Mayor Walker and his team, and with partners across the board to make sure our community is prepared and positioned to capitalize on this historic economic expansion. More than 2,000 acres of the development site has been preserved as public parkland. Congratulations, JCPRD. A new fire station and water tower will be built on the property, and we're making significant road investments to better serve new commercial and residential development in and around DeSoto. As we navigate this continued growth and expansion in all corners of our county, we do so while recognizing the importance and the unique aspects of Johnson County's rural communities. The Johnson County Rural Comprehensive Plan encourages retention of agricultural uses while balancing new growth. We will focus on that as our cities continue to grow. Our cities have consistently grown these past few decades. In 1994, 53% of the county was unincorporated. Today, that number is 35%. We recognize that wherever growth happens, our infrastructure must keep up. I don't really have to tell anyone in this room that US Highway 69 is one of the most congested, bottlenecked 4-lane highways in the nation. Raise your hand. Did anyone else experience that today? A couple of us, yeah? Last year, the Kansas Department of Transportation broke ground on the US 69 modernization project, which will make our roads safer and will make our county more accessible for millions of drivers. This year, we worked with Representative Sharice Davids to secure more than $1.5 million in federal funding that'll help relocate and protect Johnson County wastewater's underground infrastructure and will provide continued access for ongoing maintenance during this project. The new express lanes are scheduled to open next year, with all construction being done by 2026. Stay the course, friends. It'll be worth it. Another familiar pain point, K-10. KDOT estimates that roughly 80,000 cars travel this highway every single day. And that number is only going to increase as the western part of our county continues to boom. Johnson County will keep working with all of our partners, including Lenexa, Olathe, KDOT, and the Kansas Turnpike Authority. We will ensure that drivers can get safely from A to B to C, from county line to county line in Johnson County. You know, highways and roads are incredibly important, but our residents rely on infrastructure that is so much more than just these roads and bridges. For example, Johnson County also manages water infrastructure. It's an often invisible but always invaluable part of our lives. The county's largest ever infrastructure investment is currently underway at the Nelson Wastewater Treatment Facility in Mission. With diligent collaboration and thoughtful planning by JCW, we have saved more than $210 million on this massive project. And thanks to prudent fiscal management, this capital project will not impact JCW's rate projections through 2031. Let's look ahead. Public EV charging infrastructure will soon become an important component of our portfolio. While the Evergy charging network is an excellent start for our area, a much larger network of charging stations will eventually be needed. The Inflation Reduction Act has given us opportunities to leverage partnership with Evergy, with Climate Action KC, auto manufacturers, and other regional partners to grow the capacity for EV charging in Johnson County. More to come on this in the very near future. 10 years ago, you never would have imagined that we'd be standing up here talking about EV charging infrastructure. But here we are. Our world is quickly changing. And for Johnson County to continue to thrive, our infrastructure, our economy, and our policies must be prepared. With that as a backdrop, Johnson County is working with partners across the region and at all levels of government to pursue game-changing sustainability initiatives. In partnership with the Mid-America Regional Council, Johnson County has applied for $200 million in grants for our region through the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant, established as part of the Biden administration's Inflation Reduction Act. We've identified over a dozen projects throughout Johnson County that would benefit from these federal funds, allowing us to weatherize our facilities, to electrify our fleets, to reduce county energy usage, protect our natural resources, and to improve overall air quality in our community, all the while saving taxpayer resources. I'm proud that we've earned LEED certification for 12 of our county's buildings, 2 platinum designations. Our newest library, Merriam Plaza, is fully electric and features a green roof, which will provide a natural habitat while preserving the roof's lifespan for the long haul. We also, in many ways, provide resources to help you be good environmental stewards, including opening a new and improved household hazardous waste facility in 2023. But there's so much more to our sustainability story. Last spring, we learned that Johnson County, as a community, reduced our greenhouse emissions by 30% between 2013 and 2020. As for our organization, we have decreased the electricity, natural gas, and water usage in our buildings by some really significant numbers, down 11% by 2022. That's good for our climate, but also translates into significant cost savings for our taxpayers, more than $1.5 million. We have more work to do. Yes, thank you. Obviously, we have more work to do, and we have ambitious targets to chase as we work to improve the health and the resiliency of our economy, our environment, and our residents. That speaks directly to one of the priorities that the Board of County Commissioners identified for ourselves. Back in February of 2023, we met as a board and we identified 4 priority focus areas. We've already talked about infrastructure, which was one of them. A second priority that we identified is to pursue a healthy and safe county through a lens of diversity, equity, inclusion, and sustainability. Now, I'm aware that some folks who live in cable TV studios and, well, maybe roam the halls of Congress have undertaken a campaign to turn a 3-letter acronym into a 4-letter word. I'm proud that as a board, we rose above the political rhetoric to do the right and effective thing to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion into our broader health and safety initiatives. Internally, we've been doing this work for years. We call this effort Voices of Inclusion, Belonging, and Equity. And I'll tell you, our vibe is strong. We'll continue to grow our vibe as the Johnson County DEI Coalition expands our efforts into the community. Along with the DEI Coalition, we also launched a Community Sustainability Coalition. I really appreciate the work of dozens of community members and professionals who are here today who volunteer their time and talents to bring these boards to life. Harkening back for a minute to the resident surveys we mentioned earlier, residents across our county made it abundantly clear that one of their top priorities was expanded MedAct facilities to keep pace with our growing population. Just a few weeks ago, we celebrated the opening of a relocated MedAct station with Mayor Sayers in Lenexa. And later this month, we're going to cut the ribbon on a new station with Mayor Sandifer in Shawnee, significantly expanding service in that area of the county. Planning is also underway to design and construct another new MedAct station in Olathe, slated to open next year. In Johnson County, we have so much respect for the paramedics, the firefighters, the co-responders, our officers and our deputies who serve on the front lines every single day to keep our community safe. MedAct, thank you. MedAct makes it a priority to make sure that the community is trained to assist with measures such as CPR or using an AED when a health emergency first happens. Our 911 dispatchers are trained to provide life-saving instruction right over the phone because it takes all of us. Here's an example of a recent story. On February 5th of this year, a 10-year-old in our community noticed that his father was unresponsive. This courageous young man called 911 and performed CPR at the direction of the dispatcher. And with that guidance, he continued CPR until Leawood first responders and MedAct arrive. We're delighted to know that the father has fully recovered. We know that this area of county government is crucial for our community, and our budget makes it clear that the health and safety of our community continues to be a priority. In 2023, we allocated more than $100 million to the Sheriff's Office. Over the course of the year, the Board of Commissioners approved an additional nearly $18 million even approving funding requests that the Sheriff's Office made above and beyond the past budget. With funding from a federal grant, Johnson County launched a behavioral health court and an adult drug court. These innovative programs are designed to get people with mental illness or substance abuse issues the help that they actually need, while at the same time not overloading the criminal justice system with repeat offenders. These programs are modeled after our Veterans Treatment Court, which has successfully operated in Johnson County for the past 8 years and has produced 70 graduates. We cannot be afraid. We must be able to tackle complex challenges in creative new ways. We're doing that with the court system, and we're doing it with housing insecurity. It's an issue that is impacting communities all across the country, and the Board of Commissioners has identified this as another top priority. Because, as President Eisenhower said, solutions can start in the heartland. We know there's no easy answer to address the many issues surrounding housing insecurity, but Johnson County is taking it head on. We're making significant progress towards a year-round emergency housing facility, which has never existed before within our county borders. We are in a unique position to leverage federal funding and work towards a community solution to fill a critical gap in how we move those who are experiencing homelessness towards a more permanent housing solution. I'd like to share with you some of the progress we've made this past year.
The housing coordinator position in Johnson County was started by the Board of County Commissioners after a significant amount of study. The position was really created to have a staff person to sort of work on big policy ideas and think about how investments can be strategic to make sure that they're achieving their housing goals. The cost of housing in general just keeps going up. The Kansas City area has seen some of the largest increases in rents across the nation. And we need to think as a community how we address some of that, because folks at the very bottom of the income levels are being pushed up into units that they can't afford and then out of the housing market altogether. So the problem isn't unique. These rising costs aren't unique to renters. We see the same sorts of challenges in the home ownership market. One of the things that I'm excited to work on the next year is different kinds of housing. So, we talk about this missing middle with housing, or just different types of housing that we don't have a lot of in this market, and sort of thinking about how to provide different options.
Pathways at Heritage Park is an amazing project that will help us to create affordable housing here in Johnson County. We're really excited to be partnering with the Pathway Christian Church. They had land, and so we partner with them to acquire the land, and we'll be building 14 single-family homes. We will be building the homes over the next 2 years, and we'll partner with families. We identify individuals who are income eligible for these houses, and we do that through a vetting process. All of them are required to do their sweat equity and their financial education. These are families who are either spending more than 50% of their monthly income on rent, or are living in situations that are just not healthy or sustainable for their families. 1 in 10 families in Kansas is currently spending more than 50% of their monthly income on housing, and that is even higher here in Johnson County. There are so many families that are in need of affordable housing, especially affordable homeownership, and so this project is really one of a kind and will allow us to create affordable housing and to start making progress toward affordable housing in Johnson County.
The Landlord Incentive Pilot Program is a program that offers landlords financial incentives to accept families that have housing choice vouchers, emergency housing vouchers, or permanent supportive housing vouchers. It started because families with housing vouchers were having a hard time utilizing them in the Johnson County housing market. Many landlords in the competitive rental markets, they don't have a need, or it may not make business sense to work with a housing choice voucher program because they're filling their units extremely quickly. When landlords accept families that have housing choice vouchers or emergency housing vouchers or permanent supportive housing vouchers, they will receive a sign-on bonus as compensation for their time and efforts, as well as access to a damage reimbursement fund.
I think they took a lot of what our concerns were as landlords and put those into practice, and the two main concerns were the time and the inspection period and the learning curve of going into the program. Right now it's very easy to have a property rented in Johnson County, and so if you're going to be delayed at all, or if there's some kind of extra effort, having that incentive is very nice to help with that.
The eviction mediation program was born out of a brainstorming session with multiple community partners, in which the goal was to reduce the number of eviction judgments on records. So we started a pilot program in September, with the goal being that at the end of the mediation there would be options presented that, if met by the tenants, would lead to the case being dismissed. An eviction judgment can stay on a rental history for 7 years. And so when you're applying for housing and they run your rental history, they're going to see that you had a prior eviction. And that can cause someone to not be able to find stable housing in the future. Generally, what a mediated agreement looks like is that the tenant is given until a certain date to reach a certain number of conditions to avoid the eviction judgment. Finding that most of the cases are able to be mediated is sort of goal one. Let's make sure that we can come up with a different plan besides simply doing a default eviction judgment. Step two is making sure that the tenants are agreeing to something that they're able to meet, so they're agreeing to conditions that they can actually complete, so that the final judgment still isn't on their record.
People ask me a lot about, what do we do about housing? And there's not one solution. Like, there just isn't one solution. It's a lot of solutions. It's such a good model for the county to be using when they think about how are we going to address these issues, because it doesn't just look at one end of that continuum. It really thinks about all of the steps along the continuum.
Clearly, progress is being made in Johnson County, but we know that so much more is possible. And for progress to be achieved, we need to unite together as a community behind a goal. I believe that we can end chronic homelessness in Johnson County and reach functional zero by 2029. Now, that goal will require continued partnership and a shared belief that everyone should have a safe, stable place to rest their head and to tuck their kids in at night. The Johnson County government cannot do this alone, but we can lead and we can convene, which is why I am calling on all partners, public, private, philanthropic, and parochial, to join me in this bold ambition. Now is our time to be bold. Our ideas must keep pace with our growth. To that end, we're taking an innovative approach to better address the growing need for public health, mental health, and aging services within our community. Design and construction work continues on a new state-of-the-art health services building, which, when it is complete, will house these programs and services from 3 crucial human services departments. By co-locating the groups, we will improve coordination of care and ease of use for our residents, resulting in even more effective delivery and better outcomes for everyone. Johnson County should be the healthiest county in America. That is the bar that we set for ourselves. And our county government supports residents in that goal at every step of the way. 65-year-old Mary Stapleton is a great example. Miss Stapleton feels more independent in her Prairie Village home thanks to the safety features like grab bars and handrails, that were provided free of charge through the minor home repair program that's offered by the Johnson County Housing Services and the Department of Aging and Human Services. Also working with that department, the Board of Commissioners is piloting a new program for property tax relief for our seniors and veterans, similar to the successful program that we implemented in Overland Park during my time as mayor. The goal is to target relief where our efforts can be most impactful. Johnson County Developmental Supports is making life brighter for 600 residents through residential and day services, through employment support, through case management, and so much more. Together, the people who received employment support from JCDS, they earned more than $1 million in 2023. As the demand for mental health services continues to rise in our county, Johnson County Mental Health Center is growing and innovating and expanding services to meet the needs of the people we serve. Last year, we embedded our mental health responders with our 911 dispatchers. Another example of co-locating services to better serve our residents and to get them the help they need even faster. Our mental health team is utilizing a $1.5 million grant from the state of Kansas to establish a youth crisis stabilization center. This will provide early intervention services for kids as an alternative to detention. We continue to invest in those who are the most vulnerable in our community and to meet them where they need us. We're always looking for new and better ways to serve our residents at all stages of their Johnson County journey. Two of the gems in our community are our parks and our libraries. These are amenities that our residents of all ages use and enjoy, and the number of users and visitors is staggering. There's a nice, healthy rivalry between the two. So let's start with the library. How about that? There they are. In 2023, Johnson County Library had almost 1.8 million visitors. That's a 12% increase from the previous year. The system circulated both physical and digital, more than 13.7 million materials. Not to be outdone, Johnson County Parks and Recreation District hosted more than 4,000 programs, and they attracted more than 10 million visitors and participants. This is more than quality of life. It's also dollars and cents. JCPRD made an economic impact of nearly $280 million into Johnson County in 2023, and that's a conservative estimate. Because they are so important, we have made several improvements to both portfolios this year. For instance, we replaced Antioch Library. It was our oldest system in the branch, with the new Merriam Plaza Library. We made major improvements to Oak Park Library right here in Overland Park. Renovations at the Shawnee Library have also just begun. They are slated for a June completion. The libraries also went fine-free last year, increasing access to their materials and bringing in new and return users. In 2023, we celebrated the completion of 3 phases of improvements at the Mid-America Sports Complex. Work is going to wrap up later this year at Heritage Park Lake. That's to improve the lake's water quality and its habitat. JCPRD is making improvements really across the board. Master planning is happening for the future at several key locations. One thing I'm excited about is the Wee Links Golf Course. It provides a new 6-hole facility for younger golfers to learn the love and the frustration of the game. Isn't that right, Coach? These are generational investments, parks and libraries that maybe someday my kids will enjoy with their own children. That is the legacy that we work towards. A Johnson County we are all proud to call home, and one that we will be proud to pass down to the next generation. That is only possible thanks to the work and the dedication of more than 4,000 people who serve our residents as Johnson County employees. Personally, I want to make sure that I thank DTI, the Department of Technology and Innovation, as well as the Communications Department led by Jody Hanson for a fabulous day today. Thank you all so much. But there's so many hands. Our emergency dispatchers, corrections officers, our MedAct employees, our librarians, social workers, and public health nurses. For our bold ideas to actually come to pass, we rely on county staff to execute the vision and to bring our plans to life. At our employee appreciation event earlier this year, we honored 47 employees for their leadership in action. Here's a look at some very impressive work.
In my research on articles for possibly for the best times, I ran across an article that says only 10% of older adults know basic CPR. So I approached MedAct and said, I know you have CPR classes for the general population. Do you have something for an older population or caregivers?
He wrote a nice article about it in the Best Times magazine that was published back in August, I believe, and the response has been overwhelming. We knew there was like I said, the unmet need of, over 400 folks who want to have this training. The information for this training has been published one time. We're hoping to advertise it more in the future, have more people interested in signing up. CPR and First Aid for Older Adults is a class that's geared towards the older folks in our community that may not have participated in CPR or First Aid training. It also gears towards some topics that are relevant to our older population, including fall prevention, CPR, AED use, as well as some things about DNRs and our File of Life program.
This is something where we had a tremendous response, and I believe the need is there and the demands are there.
We'll keep offering these classes until we are able to teach everybody who wants to know this information. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you in the class soon.
So the Community Resource Fair was a idea that was implemented and conceptualized by a group within corrections to reduce known barriers in our community and to provide a central gathering place for our resources. So what we ask is that our officers, whether that be court services, parole, intensive supervision, that they meet their clients here. We are walking our clients around and making the introductions to the service providers.
At first it was hard for me to ask for help, so by having this all here, it's made it possible.
We have housing, employment, education, medical, along with providing people with low-cost internet, cell phone service, getting their ID so that they can start a job.
First time I came here, I was concerned about my teeth, so they gave me resources of a dental company. It was amazing because I was, self-conscious about my smile, and with that goes with hard to find a job, and it's just built up my self-esteem, and my the way I feel about myself is just amazing. I wouldn't have that if I didn't have all these resources all in one place, because without having the license, I'd have to, I'd need a ride to all these different places, and that gets expensive.
Well, I think that's why we're all here. That's why we are part of Johnson County as a whole, because we are invested in our community. We want people to be successful.
So for an overview of the project, you can see on the screen, the tank itself will be underground. Our consultant had picked out some properties. There was some issues with all the properties that they had figured out, and they weren't too crazy about any of them. And so I started, well, where else could we have it? Started looking up here. They decided to run a scenario on this, and it came back $3.5 million less. We're able to purchase the 5 acres where the tank is going to be sitting on. from the Parks and Rec Foundation of Johnson County. At 60%, the cost for the project was coming in quite a bit higher than what we were originally anticipating. I suggested, what if we put some, I'll call them buttresses, just some short shear walls inside of the tank to help brace that north wall. It saved quite a bit of concrete. While a couple inches isn't a lot of concrete, over a big area, it ends up being quite a bit of concrete. And so that suggestion saved roughly about $1 million. This is actually one of the reasons why I joined Johnson County Wastewater, was to be able to work in the community and help the environment.
That fourth and final priority that we identified as a board, that was to invest in our staff. Because we need top-tier talent to deliver the top-tier quality of life that our residents expect and frankly deserve. In 2023, we undertook a comprehensive salary and benefit study. It made clear that we needed to better align our pay structures and salaries with the market. We used that data to make immediate adjustments, prioritizing first responders and frontline workers. Since then, we've seen a significant drop in turnover and vacancy rates, with a corresponding increase in applications for open positions and staff morale. As a Board of County Commissioners, we serve as stewards of the tax dollars entrusted to us. We believe our staff is a smart investment. Now, it's an investment that we can make thanks to prudent fiscal management. For more than 15 years, Johnson County bonds have had a AAA rating from all three credit agencies. We constantly win awards for our budgeting and our financial reporting. Our budget is balanced, and our reserves give us financial strength and stability and the opportunity to pursue big, bold ideas. And we managed to do all this with the lowest general tax level in the state of Kansas. We also stack up pretty well with other jurisdictions when you compare the property taxes as a percentage of household income. It's not even close. Johnson County stands apart. And the world is watching the heartland. As we enter into a presidential election year, with every single seat in our state legislature up for grabs and plenty of local elections also on the ballot, the rhetoric, it'll likely increase. The games will be played. Conspiracy theorists will come out of their caves to spread information and misinformation and to sow discord. I hope that here in Johnson County that we can do better. Our residents demand it. Free and fair elections are central to our country's democracy. Our residents made it clear in their survey results and in election results that they appreciate options such as early in-person voting, mail ballots, and drop boxes that make voting more convenient. By expanding access to these safe and secure forms of casting a ballot, we are innovative in enfranchising more eligible voters, and that should be everybody's aim. Because here in Johnson County, we aim big. Ad aspera per aspera, right? Change will always be coming. Challenges lay ahead. We must work together across political parties, at all levels of government, within every sector of our business community, to meet this unique moment in history and to seize the opportunities that are in front of us. In Johnson County, we will take advantage of all forms of technological innovation, including AI, to create better solutions that serve more people in more efficient ways. We will leverage the power of the strengthening JOCO majority to hold our state legislators accountable and to focus on the work that truly matters. We will light the way when the world comes to our doorstep in 2026 for 6 World Cup matches, including a quarterfinal. And while the actual matches will take place across the state line, Johnson County will welcome hundreds of thousands of fans to our hotels, our restaurants, and our shops, both before, during, and after the final whistle. This will be the biggest sporting event in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole. There's stats to back that up. As a member of KC 2026's board of directors, I'm confident telling you that this will be unlike anything we have ever seen before in our metro region. And I'll also let you in on a little secret. We have a lot to do to actually make it happen. But when I look around this room and past these walls into the entire Johnson County community, I'm confident that there is no challenge that we cannot meet. Whatever America hopes to bring to pass in the world must first happen in the heart of America. Johnson County, we are America's heartland, and we are lighting the way. Thank you very much.
Chairman Kelly, we appreciate your public service, your leadership and vision for building a strong community in Johnson County. Thank you for sharing the state of the county with us. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we have completed our agenda for today's meeting. Thank you again for joining us. We are adjourned.